So last Friday, I woke up, got on a plane, flew to St. Louis, and went to the Transworld Halloween and Attractions show. Now, I didn't know what to expect, and I was concerned that maybe it was going to be a waste of time, maybe a waste of money. But when I got on the plane to come back home on Sunday, I felt like I learned more in 2 days than I had in like 2 years. And I can't believe I almost didn't go. If you don't know what the show is, it's basically like the biggest trade show for people that run haunted houses and haunted attractions to come and see exhibitors and buy things that they take back and use in their haunted attractions. Now, when I told people that I was going to this show, they kind of scratched their heads and they were like, there's a Halloween trade show? The thing is, Halloween is a $13 billion industry, second to only Christmas. And I did some research, and there's over 1,200 haunts in the country, and that's just professional haunts. And they spend over $250 million a year on things like props and animatronics, fog machines, and special effects. And this show is the biggest one of its kind. It's held each year in the convention center in downtown St. Louis. There's 500 or more exhibitors. They've got masks, costumes, and makeup for the scare actors at the haunts, special effects, prop mechanisms, animatronics, small props, big props. They even have vendors that are selling ticket service apps, booths with games that can be used for the people that are waiting in line. You can even buy full facades and sets. And then they have an entire dark zone full of giant animatronics that are displayed with the lights off and all the special effects running. If you think you've seen props because you went to Home Depot or Spirit Halloween, these will blow them all away. I mean, some of these were massive 20-foot tall props eating children and all kind of crazy stuff. There's even a whole Christmas section that's a huge part of the show where they have Christmas lights and giant blow-ups. I didn't spend too much time there, but it is a big part of the show. So yeah, the owners and operators of these haunts, they come and they check all this stuff out and they spend a lot of money and they bring it back to make their haunts better each year. Because I've been trying to take the DIY Halloween stuff more serious, I figured it would be a good opportunity to go, maybe meet people and learn about the industry. But I really had no idea if it was going to be applicable to me or if it was just like mainly for big time haunt owners coming to buy things. And then I also thought, you know, I have all these ideas for props I want to make that are original. I like to try to come up with ideas of my own, but I was like, what if I go there and everything that I thought about making that I thought was original is already been made? I would come back just feeling like I got nothing. But now that I went, I can tell you that if you're into Halloween DIY projects, it's absolutely worth going. One of the first things that was just amazing to me is you just walk in the convention center and you look around and you just see everybody walking around with their Froggies, fog, lanyards on. And I don't think I've seen so many people with purple or green hair and black horror or Halloween t-shirts in one place, maybe since going to a Danny Elfman concert a few years ago. But I looked around and I was like, these are my people. I mean, I'm not going to go dye my hair green, but it was just really cool to be around so many like-minded Halloween lovers and people that are enthusiastic about building things and props and masks and all of that stuff. All of the exhibitors were just so helpful and willing to talk and geek out over how they build stuff. Even the owners of some pretty big companies were there and just willing to talk, shop with me. I met the owner of Atmos Effects, and he was actually interested in what I was telling him about some ideas I had for projections. And then I even got to do an interview with Chris, who's the co-founder and co-owner of Froggy's Fog. I've been planning to do a really in-depth video on all kind of stuff about fog machines and fog, so it was awesome to be able to get an interview with him and ask him tons of questions. He was like a wealth of knowledge. So I've got all of that, and that's going to be coming out on a video soon, which I'm really excited about. Now, I'm sure that there's, a lot of business involved with everything, and at some point things do come down to money to a certain extent. But it was really cool to see that the owners of these companies were like still really passionate about the products that they have and about the Halloween community and everything. And then I even ran into Jay from the Wicked Makers channel. He talked to me for like 10-15 minutes about tons of stuff, gave me tons of advice for the channel, wasn't in a hurry to get out of the conversation, and just definitely a genuine guy. Even if you've watched videos and seen almost every exhibit at the show and think, wow, it's incredible, but I've seen it on video, I'm telling you, it's like 10 times more amazing in person. From the details to the masks to just the sheer size of some of the props or the texture and the foam, seeing something in video is not the same as seeing it in person, even if the video is in 4K. These props by Ghost Ride out of Boise, Idaho are just on another level. Look at that, how crazy realistic it is. These kind of props are some of the ones that I thought I wouldn't be that impressed with because I've seen so many videos of them. But man, these are just incredible. Look at the detail on them. Now this booth is one that I was really hoping I would see. These pumpkins are just incredible. They're made by Adam Jess Effects. The level of detail on these is crazy. They do it in such a way where the inside of the pumpkin is thick like a real pumpkin. And I mean, look at these guts and these seeds, the skin, the color. They even got rotten ones. And both Adam and Jess are just so nice. I talked to them for a bit when I was there, and they even told me a little bit about how they make the pumpkins. I definitely am going to give this a try at some point and see how it turns out. One of my favorite things to make and create are faux walls and facades. Taking foam, turning it into brick, stone, or wood, there's just something about that I love. And I was awestruck by the facades and the sets that I saw at the show. I mean, look at this set by 13. The doors, the stonework, it's all amazing. I just can't get over the detail. So much going on here. They've got the cauldron hanging up there, the well. This was one of my favorite. This was huge. It stood so tall, you can't even see it from the video, but it's like the old ruins of an old church or something. And probably the most epic set there was this one by Dusk Productions. It was a church. I mean, it felt like it was encompassing an entire block of the show. There's so much detail in all the doorways and the windows and the fences and the balcony. This is Critter Corners, and I was talking to the owner and creator of this, Helly, and man, she was just so eager to talk about how she built it and how she made it. This set by Plague is unreal, and I ended up talking to one of the guys that helped build it. He told me things that I've been trying to research and figure out for years. The products they use to coat the foam, things you can't get at Home Depot, and then he even was trying to figure out what distributors were out in San Diego so that I could like figure out where to buy stuff. Walking around and talking to all the different exhibitors, I just couldn't get over how much they were willing to share and talk about how they make the things that they make. You can do so much searching and digging online to figure out how to do things, but when you're there talking to people that know the tricks of the trade in person and they tell you, hey, I use this product or this is how you do it, it just hits you in a different way. You trust them more. You see their work and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm going to listen to this person. It's not just some text I'm reading on the internet from somebody that I don't know. So I have some ideas for animatronics that I want to build, and I've already started realizing that I'm going to need my motors to do more than just spin around at one speed. So I was going to take it upon myself to learn Arduino. If you know what that is, it's basically a coding where you can plug things into a little device and control motors and servos so you can get some more high functioning animatronics. So I was going to block out the time to learn Arduino, but that all changed when I walked over to the section of the show with all of the prop mechs and the prop controllers. One of the first things I saw was Purgatory Props makes this device. You hook it up to a wiper motor, you press one button, and then you control with your speed controller how fast or slow and what motion the motor goes in, and click another button and it's recorded and you've got this animated motion on your wiper motor. I will definitely be using some of the things that they make because it just saves so much time. I will learn how to do Arduino, but in the meantime, now I can use one of their prop controllers and make my animatronic sooner. So that's fantastic. And then, oh my God, Fright Props, they literally have something that does everything. And whoever does the illustration and the design for their magazine and their online stuff is just a pure genius. If you flip through the magazine, first of all, it's like a comic book. I went to the hotel on Saturday night. It was like almost midnight. I think I flipped through every page. It was like I was like a kid staying up past bedtime with a flashlight reading comics. I don't know if you can order this catalog, but man, it's just so nice to sit down and read something instead of looking at it on a computer. And then when it comes to motor mechs, they had on display like every configuration you could think to put a wiper motor in. And just walking around looking at each one was like a master class in animatronics. I mean, just to see how everything's connected, the different linkages they use, gave me so many ideas. Now, there were so many cool animatronics at the show. This one here is by Chamber Creations. I talked to the guy, he was talking about how the servos in here are like $400 each, and he's got 17 servos in this thing. Normally, when you use servos, the motion is like kind of jerky, which I don't prefer. That's why I like to use motors, but man, this guy's got it down. Of course, I don't know if I can afford that many $400 servos, but really cool. Now these animatronics are from Screen Fitters. They're based out of Pennsylvania. I was able to talk to one of the owners and builders, Mechs. He was just so enthusiastic, eager to talk about how he builds it all. I loved this one here where the guy dips down into this vat of acid. I was asking what product he puts on there that looks so wet, and he was telling me where to get it, and just super helpful. Now these are from Silent Screen Props. Very rarely see props with this slow, smooth, fluid movement like that. It's definitely what I try to incorporate into my animatronics. After going through the whole show and seeing all of this stuff, I have to say that I didn't see anything that was exactly what I have in my imagination to build. And I realized that even though tons of the booths had similar props, they were all different. All 500 or so had something unique about each one. And I realized there's just so much room for originality and creativity. So I left feeling extremely inspired and motivated to start building and making things. I'll definitely go back next year. And in fact, I'm thinking about maybe even being an exhibitor next year. I'm thinking maybe sell some animatronic props. I'd be happy if I could go and break even just to be a part of everything. Now, while this is the biggest of the trade shows, there's actually quite a few other conventions throughout the year, throughout the country. There's a Midwest Haunters Convention in Chicago, an East Coast Haunters Convention, I believe in Pennsylvania. There's a Halloween convention in LA called Midsummer Scream that I'm definitely going to be going to this year. And there's a Texas Haunters convention. So if you can't make it to the Transworld Halloween show in St. Louis, maybe you could check out one of those other shows. I hope you found my experience at the show interesting. If you want to hear more about all of the stuff I learned there, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to be sharing that with you in all my upcoming videos about DIY projects. And one thing I didn't mention that was truly the most life-changing thing about the show that I walked away with was hands down all the free stickers.